नहीं. Hello, good evening students. How are you? Hope all of you are doing well. So today we are going to discuss about the second part of human digestive system, in which we are going to discuss different organs and the gland and the mechanism of digestion. So in our previous class we have already discussed about the four different parts, that is mouth, buccal cavity, then pharynx and esophagus, and we have discussed about that in esophagus there is a special type of movement, that is rhythmic contraction and relaxation of muscle, through which this food passes down towards the stomach. Now next thing is stomach. Stomach. Now stomach is J-shaped organ when empty. So when it is empty, it looks like a J shape, and it is a distensible organ, means it can change its shape according to the amount of food present in it. Distensible organ can change its shape. So when we eat food, this J shape will become near about half spherical. So that's why we call this organ as a distensible organ. Now walls of stomach have certain glands, and these glands are known as gastric gland. Now these gastric gland release some different types of juices, some different types of enzyme, and these gastric gland secretes gastric juice. Now when we are going to discuss about the gland, we will discuss this gastric gland in detail over there. Right now we have studied about the stomach. It is a J-shaped organ when empty, and it is a distensible organ, that means it can change its shape. Its wall have certain glands, that is gastric gland, and this gastric gland secrete gastric juice. Now if we see the structure of stomach, it looks like a J when it is empty. So we have two different valve over here. Valves are nothing, these are the circular muscle structure which prevent the backflow or the regurgitation move. So this valve is known as cardiac valve, and this valve is known as pyrolic sphincter, or cardiac valve or cardiac sphincter. Better to write sphincter. Valves are a small flap of muscle, while sphincters are the large muscles. Now these sphincters, cardiac sphincter as well as this pyloric sphincter, these prevent the regurgitation of food. Regurgitation means backflow of food. Backflow of food. Fine. So stomach is a J-shaped organ, distensible organ. It can change its shape. Its wall have certain gland. We call them as gastric gland. In the initial starting of stomach and in the later end of the stomach, there are two different sphincters. One is cardiac sphincter, another is pyloric sphincter, and these sphincter prevent the regurgitation or the backflow of the food. So this cardiac sphincter prevent the backflow in esophagus, while this pyloric sphincter prevent the backflow in stomach. Fine. It flow, prevent backflow in stomach from small intestine, while cardiac sphincter prevent backflow of food from stomach to esophagus. So it prevent the regurgitation towards esophagus, this cardiac sphincter, and this pyrolic sphincter prevent the regurgitation from small intestine inside stomach. Fine. Buffering हो रही है. Might be you have some network issue. I am happy so. Fine. So this is all about the stomach right now. Now, digested food inside stomach. Digested food inside stomach is known as chyme, and digested food in buccal cavity is known as bolus. Although this food is partially digested, this is also partially not digested because the complete digestion of food occurs in our small intestine. Fine. Now, small intestines, which is 7.5 meter long according to the NCERT. Now, small intestine have three different regions. One is duodenum, which is C-shaped and is the site of complete digestion. While the other part of a small intestine are jejunum and ileum. Both jejunum and ileum helps in absorption of food, absorption of digested food. From here, the digested food will get absorbed and transported to the circulatory system as well as to the liver. Ileum also helps in absorption of food. So this is the smallest part. Duodenum is just the C-shaped part where site of complete digestion takes place. Jejunum is the particular longer part than this duodenum, and this is the largest part. So ileum is more longer than jejunum, and jejunum is more longer than duodenum. So duodenum is the smallest part of small intestine. Now, as we have already discussed, in jejunum and ileum, the absorption of food takes place. But if somebody is asked you where does the maximum absorption of food takes place, then you will have to answer that maximum absorption of food takes place in jejunum. Fine. Just wait for a moment. Hello. Hello, am I audible? Okay, fine. Now, so maximum absorption of food takes place in jejunum. Now, why this maximum absorption takes place in jejunum? For that, we have to study about another structure known as villi. Now, villi are basically the finger-like structure which is richly supplied with blood vessels. So, these contain blood vessels in them. More the number of villi, more the blood vessels in them, and these blood vessels helps in the absorption of this food. So the food from this lumen, this space will get transferred into these blood vessel, and the blood will transport this food to various part of the body. So what are villi? Villi are the thin walled finger like structure which contain which is richly supplied with blood vessels. Now they increase surface area for absorption of food. Now, more number of villi, more will be absorption. Now, next thing is the number of villi is more in jejunum as comparison to ileum. So, more villi in jejunum is the reason for maximum absorption of food from jejunum. So these are the finger-like structure which is richly supplied with blood vessel, and during the time of absorption of the food, they'll increase surface area, due to which more amount of food get absorbed. Now, the more number of villi more will be the absorption, and the number of villi is highest in jejunum as comparison to the ileum. That's why these both are the site for the absorption of food, but maximum absorption of food takes place inside jejunum. Next thing is large intestine. According to NCERT, it is 1.5 meter, but not in reality. Fine. So large intestine. Large intestine have further three different parts. Number one is cecum. Number one is second is colon. Number third is rectum. Now, cecum is a vestigial organ. It do not have any functions now. Closer to cecum, we have another vestigial organ. Close to it, we have appendix, and this appendix is another vestigial lymphoid organ of the body. Though it is not completely vestigial organ for the body, it helps in maintaining our immune system, but it is completely vestigial for digestion. Earlier, during when we are evolving, some bacteria used to reside over here. So because of the presence of those bacteria, at that time when we were evolving, we can eat grasses and we can easily digest cellulose. But nowadays, we can't digest cellulose. So colon. Colon, undigested food which is not get absorbed by the body, okay, or we call them as feces from ileum transferred to cecum and then to colon. Now in this colon, some bacteria resides which show symbiotic relationship with human body, which show symbiosis with human body. Now, so these bacteria show symbiosis with human body. Now, what these bacteria do, from this undigested waste, or feces, these bacteria, we call them as intestinal bacteria, and the name of these bacteria are E. coli. From these undigested waste, this intestinal bacteria, that is E. coli, form vitamin B9, vitamin B12 and vitamin K. So these three vitamins get synthesized inside our colon. Now the rest remain is total undigested waste, which can't be further used up by the body, send to rectum, and rectum temporarily store this feces or undigested waste. So whenever we feel like we have to poop, there is a there is a neural signal which came from our central nervous system of the body, and it will give signals to the rectum. The rectum muscle start contracting and relaxing, and this feces will push towards the anus. Now anus have two different valves: internal valve Hello, hello. Am I audible? Yeah, side में पड़ा. Am I audible? Am I audible? So let us discuss once again. See, in our body, we have three different types of glandular system. Some glands releases only juices. Now, those glands which release only juices are said to be as exocrine gland. Some gland releases only hormones. Like for a kind of example, liver only releases a juice, that is bile juice. That's why liver is an exocrine gland. It is an example of exocrine gland. Some glands release only hormone. So those glands which release only hormone are said to be as endocrine gland. But there are some glands which can release either both juice as well as hormone. So such type of gland which can release both juices as well as hormone, these glands are said to be as heterocrine gland or mixed gland. Pancreas is one of the best example of mixed gland. Fine. Now this is the structure of pancreas. This contains some cells which is arranged, triangular cells arranged in a circular manner. These cells are known as Acini cell. Now Acini cells are those cells of pancreas which form pancreatic juice that helps in digestion. Now this pancreatic juice contains certain enzymes like chymotrypsinogen, trypsinogen, pancreatic lipase, pancreatic amylase and nucleases that helps in the digestion of food. But this pancreas contains small island of cells. These are actually the clusters of cell which looks like a small island, and these island was first of all reported by a scientist known as Langerhans. So he combinedly termed these cells as Isle of Langerhans. Now this Isle of Langerhans is those cell which releases hormone from pancreas. These Isle of Langerhans contain different cells like alpha cell, like beta cell, like delta or D cell, like PP or F cell. So these cells in our body releases certain different hormone that helps in regulating various mechanism of our body. Like alpha cell release glucagon, beta cell will release insulin. If somehow these beta cell get disturbed or they do not form insulin, our body will get to suffer a disease which is known as diabetes mellitus. This delta or D cell release somatostatin, and this PP or F cell will release pancreatic polypeptide. Now what are the function of these hormone? We will discuss in a chapter which is known as endocrinology or the hormonal system of the body. So right now we are not going to discuss the function of these hormones, but in the mechanism of digestion we have to discuss the function of these certain enzymes. So these are the hormones, these are the enzymes. Pancreatic polypeptide. And the last is intestinal gland, which juice is known as intestinal juice, and this intestinal juice is also known as succus entericus, and this succus entericus or intestinal juice. This intestine gland is the part of small intestine. So intestinal gland present in a small intestine, it releases a juice known as intestinal juice or succus entericus, and this juice is a mixture of many enzymes. It do not contain 3 or 4 enzymes, it contain more than 10 enzymes, many enzymes. And this intestinal juice helps in final digestion of food. Now, how this digestion mechanism will take place, we're going to discuss it tomorrow. So tomorrow we are going to complete our first chapter of human physiology, that is human digestive system. Fine. So this is your first class or second class of human digestive system. You can write down it in the form of notes, and please like and share the class. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in next class, and please share this class with your friend, as well as if you are new, please subscribe the channel and share it with your friends, as we are providing the complete class free of cost. Fine. So have a good day. Nice. Thank you. Take care.